What is up, my guy? 6'7". I just wanted to have a little fun, guys, at the beginning of this college football ranking playoff reaction. In a good mood since Ohio State. We beat our rival, that team up north, and yes, I keep on talking about it because, yes, it was a massive win for us, and we finished the regular season 12-0, undefeated. Everybody give Ohio State a round of applause for accomplishing the first half of the mission. Good job, Buckeyes. Now we're in the postseason. We're going to be facing Indiana in the Big Ten Championship game this Saturday, 8 p.m. Cannot wait. We are going to beat Indiana back down to earth. Indiana, I'll say this, they had a good season this season. They are undefeated. They went all undefeated. That was only because they didn't play us in the regular season. But now they are playing us, and we're going to knock them off their high horse. And we're going to become Big Ten champions. Then we're going to go on to be the national champions again. We're going to regain our title that we have currently, which is the undisputed champions in WWE talk. But a big game for us on Saturday, and I can't wait. We already won. That game's already decided. Indiana ain't no match. We have the better guys, point blank, period. There's nothing more to add to it, guys. Why does my chin look yellow? Oh, listen, it's the light, and my chin kind of looks yellow. It's the way the light is, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. But, yeah, we're getting the playoff rankings. We already know the best team in college football is going to be number 1. Indiana is going to be 2 because those are the only 2 teams left in college football for now that are undefeated until Sunday. Then Indiana will take their first L of the season. And this is the second to the last college football rankings, I believe. This one, then like the final one. Like, who's in? So here we go. The rankings are up right now. So James Madison is sitting there at 25. They weren't ranked, so they got into the top 25. North Texas is above them, 24. Iowa, 23. Georgia Tech, 22. Houston sitting there at 21. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teams that were not ranked are now ranked. So, you know, that's a big accomplishment for those teams. But they're in the top 20, so I don't really see them, getting into the playoffs. I guess out of all those teams, James Madison, believe it or not, even if they're sitting at 25, there is an outside team that's not in the Power 5 conferences that will get into the playoffs. That could be them. I don't know. Anything can happen, right? And sitting at 20, Tulane. Then sitting at 19, who took that ugly, big, fat L. Let's go. We showed them why we are better. Is that terrible football team up north. Sit your butt in the back. There was no hope for you anyway. Sitting at 18, Arizona, 17, Virginia, and 16, UFC. Sitting on top of everybody at 9-3. They got 3 losses. I mean, what do you do with 3 lost teams, right? Arizona, they moved up 7 spots, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to go ahead and jump into the final ranking there whatsoever. Then at 15, we're at the top 15 now. We got Utah sitting there at 10-2. They're just, I don't know. They're probably not going to get in. Vandy, sitting there at number 14, 10-2. They're probably not going to make the playoffs either. I don't see how they could at all with their 10-2. So I don't really think they're going to make the playoffs at all whatsoever. And I don't really know who's going to make the playoffs, quite honestly. I mean, you can start going by who already we know is definitely in the playoffs. Like Ohio State, obviously, we're in the playoffs. But we'll talk about that as they're moving the list along here. Sitting at number 13 is big Texas right there. Texas, I mean, they could find their way, somehow. They're sitting there with 3 losses. Personally, I don't think they belong in the playoff. I just really don't want to see Texas in there. They've had their chance in the regular seasons. It ain't nobody's fault, that they fumbled the football in those 3 losses that they took. To me, if you have 3 losses, dude, there's other teams that are more deserving to get into the playoffs. And sitting at number 12, now here, this would be the playoff list right here if we were in the final rankings. Of course, this ain't. But sitting at 12 is Miami. There's a dilemma between Miami and Notre Dame that, hey, Miami beat Notre Dame. So why ain't they ranked ahead of Notre Dame? And I totally agree. I think Miami should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame. I mean, head-to-head has to matter. It has to matter. But, I mean, I say, well, why does it matter if they get in? Yeah, but in worst-case scenario, no, I don't even like Miami, but I'm taking up for them here. Even in the worst scenario, you can't leave Miami out of the playoffs and leave Notre Dame in because Miami beat Notre Dame. So, I kind of want Miami to get in just so they won't get screwed, but they're probably going to lose in the first round. In the first round anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me, quite honestly, but I would say they would have kind of got robbed if they don't make it into the playoffs. So, sitting at number 11 is BYU, sitting there at 11-1. I think BYU is mostly a lock for the playoffs. I don't really see how, they can get out of the playoffs. But moving down one is Notre Dame. Nobody wants to see them in the playoffs whatsoever. But they finished their regular season, I'm pretty sure. They may have one more game left, but I don't think they do. I think their regular season is also over. So it looks like Notre Dame will be making the playoffs. And they're just going to lose in the first round too. Well, that depends on who they play. Right? But 8 times out of 10, Notre Dame is going to lose in the first round. And if not, definitely the second round. So they ain't going to do anything. Most of these teams ain't going to be doing anything in the playoffs, guys. They're just really not. They're either going to win, lose, and then, they have to come through us to take our championship away. And when they play Ohio State, they're just going to lose because we're repeating this year. That's all there is to it. So, but sitting above them at 9, we got Bama sitting there at 10-2. They have a big game this week. They're in the SEC championship. They are playing Georgia. So the conversation is like, hey, if Alabama loses to Georgia, should they get penalized for that 3rd loss of the season? Or, should they just be like, well, we shouldn't get penalized for playing in our conference championship game? You know what I mean? So that's a big conversation right there on its face right there. And sitting at number 8 is Oklahoma. But back to the Bama thing, to me personally, I really don't care if Bama gets in or not. But I would say that, hey, if you lose your championship game, then I believe that, you should not be able to make the playoffs. But sitting there at number 7 is Texas A&M. They moved down 4 spots. Wow. Because of that loss to Texas. And Ole Miss, they moved up 1, sitting up there at 6. I talked about Lane Kiffin, how the AD won't let him coach in a playoff game for Ole Miss, and I totally agree with the AD's decision to do that. Lane Kiffin basically gave the middle finger to Ole Miss players. And, yeah, you want to go to a different school, the rival school, and be like, oh, I want to coach. No, buddy. Kick the can down the road. Get up out of here. So I definitely agree with the AD on that one. Sitting at 5, round off the top 5, Oregon. They're a lock for the playoffs for sure. They're going to the playoffs, but, again, they're not going to go anywhere. Any team that's going to play them, it's like duck season. You know what I mean? But sitting there at 4 is Texas Tech. Sitting there at 3 is Georgia. And, of course, like I said already, the best team in college football. Ohio State sitting there at top number 1. And that team we're going to beat this Saturday, Indiana, they're sitting there at 2. Both of us are undefeated. Indiana's going to get knocked off their high horse because their head's like way above the crowd, way above the clouds. Their head is way up in outer space. You know, they're thinking that they're going to go ahead and try to do something with this Big Ten championship, but really, they're just going to eat the L. So they should just be happy with the season that they have had this regular season, right? That's a big call. I'll give them some credit, you know. You guys went undefeated, but only because you didn't play us in the regular season. And you're also going to make the playoffs regardless. Regardless how bad we beat them, which I believe is going to be pretty bad, guys. But even if it's like 41-7, I still believe that Indiana should make the playoffs because they'll have that one loss there to the best team in college football. So I believe either way, not either way, but when Indiana loses this Saturday to us and we become the Big Ten champions, let's go. I'm already excited. I'm already claiming it. We are the Big Ten champions. You heard it first right here. Spoiler alert, guys. Ohio State beats Indiana 41-7. Putting it down. We're actually going to put a beat down. That game should be over at halftime, quite honestly. Indiana, they have zero chance. Zero chance. Our talent is too much. Our skilled players are too much. And we're just going to run and do whatever we want. And better football conditions. We will not have the snow. We will not have the cold. It's going to be in Indianapolis in concealed, so they're going to have the heat on. And when our players can play in that warm weather type environment, then yeah, it's curtains. It's pretty much over for Indiana. But again, they are making the playoffs still. So hey, take that as a consolation prize. You know what I mean? Just be happy with that, Indiana fans. That, hey, at least you made the playoffs. Either way, right? You made the Big Ten championship and you made the playoffs. Maybe whoever they play in the playoffs, maybe they'll get a win over them. Maybe we'll see Indiana. I don't know who we're going to face. I don't know who we're going to play. That's why these rankings right now, especially this one, because this is the second to last one, are important because I want to know, like, who are we going to play in the national championship? That I do not know. All I know is it's going to be the Buckeyes versus somebody. Who that somebody is, I don't know. So it's going to be an interesting playoff season, to say the least, of who we are going to play. So that's why I'm going to be watching every single playoff game, and just because I like college football, obviously. But, yeah, just to see who is our opponent going to be, because our game versus Indiana, we win and we get a bye week. So, and last year, all the teams that had bye weeks, they lost, but that's because they can't handle their game. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So as the rankings would be sitting right now, if this was the final rankings, you would have Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. Texas A&M would beat Notre Dame. Then you would have Ole Miss versus whoever wins the SEC championship. Then you would have Alabama and Oklahoma. I don't see Oklahoma beating Bama, so I would go ahead and put Bama over that, unfortunately, But just a lot of then whoever wins the conference championship, and then there'd be like two teams out to the outside there. But, I kind of just realized something about this 12-team playoff, like, are we going to get the same, like most of the... Okay, well, Ohio State's a lock for every year, so Ohio State's going to be there in every year if people don't like it or not. But what about all these other teams, especially like Notre Dame? It seems like Notre Dame just finds a way to sneak their way into the playoffs every single season. With their 2, they could even have 3 losses, and they still find a way. Like, what is up with that, guys? I don't know. That's a pet peeve. Okay, but no. It's just crazy, though, man. Just having all these teams that were, like, really... Oh, man. So, it looks like Notre Dame's probably going to the playoffs. But whatever, it is what it is. Again, I don't really care. All I know is that Saturday, your team, the best team in college football, the Ohio State Buckeyes, are going to be Big Ten champions. We're winning. Indiana have zero chance, bro. They're coming off. We're going to knock them off their high horse and bring them back to reality and let them know that, hey, you're really not that good. The only reason why they're undefeated in the first place is because the teams that they were playing against were down. That's it. I'm pretty sure Indiana's biggest win is like against Notre Dame. But who hasn't beat that team, right? But they did beat them on the road. So, I mean, I guess they just got to be happy that they're in the playoffs regardless when they lose to us on Saturday. I thought the championship was on Monday, but that's what Google told me. But ESPN keeps saying that it's on Saturday. So, I'm glad I got that straight. I don't know if they changed it on Google. But whenever I Googled it, on Google, it said that the Big Ten championship game is on Monday. So maybe it got confused. But this is the second to the last ranking right here. I believe the next ranking will be after the championship game. If I'm not mistaken, guys, I could be mistaken. I don't know. I wish I had my phone, quite honestly, so I'd be able to look it up, so I'd be able to tell you guys as well. But I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. Just believe me. Don't fact check me, guys. Just believe every word that comes in my mouth, okay? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. So just one more ranking to go, and we're gonna find out who's in. Of course, we know some teams that are in, some spots that are taken. Here's some teams that we know that's in. Okay, there's 12 spots, right? So we got the Buckeyes, Indiana. Regardless, they're going to lose to us this Saturday, and we're going to win the Big Ten championship. But Buckeyes, Indiana, Texas, A&M. I'd throw A&M in there. So that's 3 teams. 3 teams that I know that are going to get in. I would even throw. I think Georgia's going to get in regardless, whether they win or lose their SEC championship, because they only have like 1 loss on the season. Right? Well, I don't know. You might want to check on me on that one. I'm not 100% sure, guys. And I'm talking because I'm not 100% sure. But, anyway, Buckeyes, Indiana, Texas A&M. There's 3 locks right there. So, 12 minus 3 is 9. There's 9 spots left. I guess you can give those teams, according to the rankings right now. And those are just 3 teams that are locked for the playoffs. Right? Texas A&M, they only have that 1 loss. So they're going. Oh yeah, Ole Miss. So you got. Let's see here. You got Buckeyes, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. There's 4 spots because Ole Miss, this is their very first time in a playoff game. So there's 4 teams right there. So 12 minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves 8 spots. Who else is in there? Let's see. Who else is in there? There's only 8 spots left, right? There's 4 teams that took a spot already. There's only 8 spots left. I don't know, guys. I can't really say for sure who I think is going to make the playoffs, because the committee comes, sometimes they can be up and they can be down. You just never know, you know. You can guess all you want, but those 4 teams, I can guarantee you guys are going to be in the playoffs. Buckeyes, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. There's 4 teams for you right there that are guaranteed to be in the playoffs. I guess everybody else, you know, you could just kind of throw up in the air and catch them up out of the sky and put them in your pocket. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure the rankings, the last rankings, are on Tuesday. Yeah. This Tuesday coming up. 1 more week from now, after we get done with all the championship games. It is the postseason. Championship game weekend is this weekend, so yeah, we already know who the Big Ten champions are going to be. So, Indiana has no chance. But yeah, guys, I think. Oh man, I don't know. Oh man, I really don't want to say Notre Dame, but I think Oregon's gonna get in also. So you can add that 5 to the list. So you got Buckeyes, Indiana, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Oregon. So there's 5 teams for sure that I believe are going to get in. So then 12 minus 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves 7 spots left, guys. 7 spots. Yeah. So you can kind of just, I mean, it doesn't, to me it really doesn't matter where you put the 12 teams. Like, okay, what's your ranking? Like 11 or 10? It doesn't, like, who you play. But it really shouldn't matter who you play. As long as you're in the playoffs, you should be happy. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter what ranking. Like, you say, oh, well, we'll put you at 9. Okay, I don't care. You know? I'm in the playoffs. That's all I should care about. You know? Other than, whoa, where am I at? Or all that other good stuff. But, yeah, so I think those are the teams I think will get in. Maybe Texas Tech. You know what? I think Texas Tech will get in there as well. So that's 6 teams. So that means there's only 6 spots left. Who are the 6 other teams? I don't know. But I know he's saying pretty something important right here. The guy who runs the stuff.
And I think that was enough to change the minds of a couple of committees.
You talking about changing minds and stuff? Somebody's not going to be happy. Listen, there's always going to be a team that is not happy about getting into the playoffs.
If, say, BYU wins the Big 12, did that come?
Yeah, what if BYU wins the Big 12?
Not, Reese. We will evaluate the results of the championship game after they're all completed over the...
Okay, so I guess we'll find out for sure. Because you still got the Sun Belt Troy at James Madison. I don't think maybe James... I'm rooting for James Madison. I want a team that's not in the top Conference 5 to get in just to see... No, everybody likes an underdog. And obviously I wouldn't be rooting for them if they're playing my Buckeyes. I'd be rooting against them. But if they're not playing my Buckeyes, James Madison, and they get into the playoffs and they're playing like Ole Miss or somebody else, then yeah, I'll root for them, you know? Because they would be an underdog. But no, the college football selection playoff is this Sunday, guys. I was wrong. And I'm glad I didn't turn off. But according to ESPN, it is this Sunday at noon is the final college football ranking. We will find out this Sunday who is in the college football playoffs. And I already told you guys 7 teams. Buckeyes, Indiana, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Wait, did I get that right? Yeah, Sunday. This Sunday, guys, is the final ranking. We're going to find out who's in. I already told you guys who's in. So we already know we got about 7 teams that are in a lock. So there's only space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more teams left, guys. Who's going to take those 5 spots? I have 0 idea. But we will see. I think I would personally like to see James Madison get in there. Even though they'd get their butt kicked, quite honestly, they really ain't going to do anything. Not even in the first round. But just so there's an underdog in there. You know, it'd be really cool to see. If maybe they could. Maybe they could surprise everybody. You know? Maybe they could actually do something. I doubt it, but... Hey, I'm rooting for James Madison. Let's get James Madison in there. I really want him to get in. Okay? Just to see how they play against any team that they face. Okay? And I'll be rooting for them too, unless they're playing my Buckeyes, obviously. Then I'm rooting against you. But hey, if you're playing like any other team beside us, then yeah, I'll root for you. Because I like underdog, dude. I think it'd be funny. Funny as heck to watch these higher schools get beat by a lower school tier. Oh, man, that'd be so funny to watch, guys. But it is this Sunday. It is not Tuesday. So, please, if you want to watch the rankings, then, watch it Sunday, not Tuesday. Okay? So, I just want to get that. I was wrong, guys. I'm just a human being. I get stuff wrong all the time. The majority of the time I am right, though. But there are a couple occasions, just like now, that I get stuff wrong, guys. Okay? But, yeah, so, this is it, guys. Championship rankings, and then we know who's in the playoffs. And then we go on to the Heisman, which Sayin, I heard, is in the lead for the Heisman. So I'm hoping that Julian Sayin, our quarterback for our Buckeyes, gets the Heisman. I believe he deserves it. He's throwing dimes and nickels. He did make that bad play in the first quarter of that game on last Saturday, obviously. But, it is what it is. He's still been throwing dimes and nickels, but I guess it's pretty easy to look pretty good as a throwing quarterback when you have the wide receivers and a good tight end to throw it to, right? They probably make him look like 100 times better than what he actually is. But he is good, though. He does deserve to be in New York, and he will most likely be in Newark. And I also believe that he belongs in New York City. He deserves the Heisman, so I hope that he wins the Heisman. I really do. He should win the Heisman. He's the best quarterback in college football, and he's playing for the best team in college football, so he should get it all day long. So I guess we will see, but first it's going to be the championship weekend this Saturday, and then, guys, on Sunday will be the final playoff rankings. Who's in? I told you the other teams that are in, but I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe the committee won't try to stay logic. All I know, I'd say this, if Bama loses to Georgia, they should be out, bro. Bama does not deserve to be in the playoffs with 3 losses. They just don't. I'm sorry. And then I don't like Bama. Yeah, so. And you're not being penalized for your conference for being in the conference championship you're losing. You're getting penalized for the games you lost in the regular season. If you don't want to have 3 losses on your resume, then come here, Bama. Let me tell you. Don't lose. Easy, simple. Right there. So, I'm kind of hoping that Bama loses just so they won't be in the playoffs. And I'm hoping that committee won't put them in the playoffs. I really am. But here are the championship games that are going on Saturday. We got Tulane, and I don't know whose other team they're playing. I don't know. But they're 20-24. BYU, Texas Tech. That's another school who's probably going to be in. But that's going to be a big game, a Big 12 championship. Then you got the SEC championship, Georgia, Alabama. Then you got the ACC championship, Duke versus Virginia, sitting there at 17. I don't know what you do with Virginia, quite honestly. But then, obviously, you got the real conference championship that really matters, is the Big Ten championship. That's going to be us, and I believe that game starts at 8 o'clock p.m. So, yay. So, I am excited about that because that means I get to watch the other conference championship games, then watch our conference championship game, so I won't miss any conference championship games. There may be one conference that is going on when our game's going on, but if that's the case, I'll just kind of go back and forth because honestly, our game against Indiana should be over at halftime. It should absolutely be over by halftime. That's how bad I believe we're going to beat this Indiana Hoosiers team. So, yeah, they have zero chance whatsoever. But, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. The end of the second last reaction to the playoffs. And with that, guys, I will see you guys in the next one.